Are you having trouble with Path of Exile 2's insane Act 1 campaign bosses? Well, not anymore, hopefully. In this video that you just clicked on, I will be covering a boss's entire moveset, how to avoid it, how to do every single boss based on which class you are, so melee or mage or minions or whatever, and I'll try to give you as many tips as I can on how to prepare for a boss, especially the Act 1 campaign boss, the final boss, because that one is the hardest one, in my opinion. So let's begin. Okay, so this is a boss that I accidentally missed in the beginning of my playthrough. This is the first boss, right outside of the first town. She is very easy. You will see me tanking a lot of stuff here. That's because I'm a higher level, so just don't pay any attention to that. Um, She just has a lot of icy projectiles, so if you get hit by those, they will slow you down and chill you. Besides that, she has a ground-based spike attack where she says be still, so don't be still. Overall, it's a very easy fight. She's very, very squishy. Even if you are properly leveled for this, she is still very, very squishy. This attack, she summons a bunch of icy wisps, and eventually, when she's done channeling this, they will all fire off to where you were. Very slow attack, but then after she's done firing it, she will release a big ice nova around her. If you get hit by this, it will hurt a lot. You will probably get one shot by this. So just stay away from her and you should be fine. She also spawns ads in between when she does this. When she says swell, that's implying that she is swelling. So she does this attack around her. So most of her attacks, in essence, are just attacks that happen around her, right? Even the spiky attack that she used just now, more spikes summon around her than they do in the rest of the arena. So that's basically it. Just don't be too close to her. She doesn't walk around, she stays completely still in the center of the arena. So you can just know that if you are melee, come in, hit her. If you see her swinging something, just roll away and it should be outside of it. And here I'm just showing that it doesn't do much damage. Like it's not even getting through my energy shield. But if you are someone who has like 70 health, which you probably would at the time of fighting this boss organically, it will hurt. So be careful of that. But again, if you don't want to deal with any of these mechanics, she is very, very squishy. So if you want, you can just wait for her to use one ability, you rush in, and then just burst her down before she does anything else. Right, so first we have the Brambleghast. This guy is pretty easy. All you really have to do is pay attention to his hands. Right, so if he is attacking with his right hand, so his right, as you can see here, his right hand, that means that he's going to do a very ground-based attack. So he'll hit the ground and a root will travel towards you and do damage. Simple. Right. That attack doesn't do much damage and it's very easy to just walk out of, as you saw me do. However, if he attacks with his other hand, so you see here, he raises his left hand all the way up and he's going to slam this down really, really slow in front of him and he'll launch this purple ball at you. Now this hurts a lot. So I only got hit by one projectile from it and I'm almost dead. So be very careful. Even if you have a lot of armor, this can just shotgun you because it fires off many, many projectiles. So be careful with it. And then if he does this tiny jump with both of his hands, he's going to do a slam attack. So if we go back a little bit, you'll be able to see that he is raising himself up. Here, both hands are up and then he slams them down. And then this spiky explosion happens where you currently are standing. So if you see him do this, immediately dodge roll out of the way because it does travel pretty quickly. Besides that, he has nothing else. Those are all his abilities that you should be concerned about, and then he'll just use those on loop. There is one more where he'll be constantly slamming the ground, spawning these roots, but they don't really do much. They just fire off these small projectiles, and it's a very, very easy to avoid them. So those are fine, and he's very squishy. Most builds can just straight up spam their abilities and kill him without really worrying about much to dodge. Just dodge the big spiky ball, and you should be fine. And that boss, very easy. So now we have the Devourer. I made the same mistake on this as well. I completely forgot about this boss, so I'm very over level for this. But this is a very easy boss. He has no abilities. Okay, so one of his abilities is he swipes, melee attack, nothing. His other ability is a projectile that he spits at you. So this one, this also very easy to dodge. Just keep on moving. I'm over here. He shot it there. So he's pretty dumb too. The only attack that does some decent amount of damage is going to be this large poison slam attack that he does not use very often. He also moves around the arena a lot. You can't target his tail for anything. You have to hit his face. So remember this. You can't hit his tail with anything. But yeah, his attacks are non-existent. He has no special abilities, no nothing. So as long as you're just moving around and hitting him, you should be fine. Like I'm literally trying to make him use abilities. This is one of the abilities he has. He burrows in, and if you see him burrowed into the ground for too long, then he'll rise up out from where you were standing and do a big amount of damage and spawn some smaller monsters. And then there's this attack. This attack can kill you. If you don't walk out of this, you will get shotgunned and bursted down, and you will die to this. I'm pretty sure I would have died to this, even though I'm over leveled here. I probably would have died to this because it would have dealt poison damage and bursted me down. And then he just goes back to normal melee attack. So you shouldn't have any problem with this fight at all. Here, you can see when he gets low enough, he spawns in his tail. And his tail starts hitting you too. You can't hit his tail. You can't target it with anything. It's just there. So just stay away from it. His tail mostly just swipes in an area around it. So it zones you out. Besides that, the tail does nothing. However, the Devourer himself, he charges up this spitty slam attack. So when he starts glowing yellow, yellowish green, like this, just move out of the way because he's going to do this big poisony slam in front of him and then spawn a bunch more monsters and then use this attack as well afterwards. Besides this, there is nothing to worry about. He does also, when he does that big slam attack, he spawns Poison Ground. Doesn't do much damage, but that's what he does. And I will let the rest of the fight play out. So you can see that he doesn't do anything else. Even when he gets super low in HP, he does nothing else. So the key to this fight is stay away from the tail, because I'm not taking any damage from the tail because I'm over leveled. Again, please remember, but you will take a lot of damage from this tail. But the tail is only a zoning ability, so just stay away from it and you should be fine. There you saw a red area effect coming in from where he was about to slam up. Avoid that and you should be fine. Okay, so then we have the Rust King. This boss is fairly pretty easy. Quick rundown. He has a melee attack that does basically nothing. And then he has this sort of frontal slam. It's not really a slam because it's too fast, but it does about as much damage as you would expect a slam to do. So it's very easy. Just dodge roll behind or dodge roll in the front, or if you have enough movement speed, just walk straight out of it. Besides that, he will keep using his melee attacks in between his other abilities, and those do nothing. So you can just tank those as melee, as minion, as whatever, and just spam your abilities on him. Minion players are expected to have this fight much easier because his attacks, he just uses one attack and then straight up switches into just using his generic melee attack, which does no damage. Or then we have Interloper. Now this does damage, but it's very easy to avoid. Just go and stand in between the swords that he's summoning around him, and you won't take any damage. You will fire these off and you won't take anything, as long as you dodge them. and you have plenty of time to dodge them. So again, you see me here trying to fight this fight in melee range, even though I'm a spellcaster, so that I can prove that you can do this in melee range. Here, I tank one of his other abilities, so he spawns a bunch of swords in front of him. He is supposed to say a voice line here. He's supposed to say heathen before using this ability. He did not. So some abilities do just seem to be happening without the boss saying the name of the ability. So be careful of that. He will raise up his sword arm before he uses this ability. So try to pay attention to him. Try to get rid of the other monsters so that you can stare only at him. But yeah, it hurts, so be careful with it. Then again, uses Interloper, very easy to dodge. While he's using Interloper, that's your time to attack. Then he has an ability called For the Clan. In this one, very simple, he just summons his clan. These monsters, they don't do any damage, they're very weak and low HP. These are just to give you back flash charges. And then you will see him eventually use the same ability again without saying the name. So be careful. And now he says Heathen, in which he does the same ability, but since he's lower on health, he does it bigger. So it has larger area effect. So if you want to dodge this, you have to dodge behind him. Most of his abilities fire off in front of him, so dodge behind him. And just keep on moving around behind him. And again, basically the same moveset up until he does a very, very strong ability when he reaches pretty low health and is about to come up here and actually die to it. So it's going to happen never, right? Because, spoiler alert, I did not die to it. So a very easy, very simple boss. You don't have to do much there. Alright, so now we have the Rotten Druid. This is a very simple boss. However, you can easily die from one of his abilities if you don't pay attention. So he'll fire off this, right? And it'll look like it's his normal attack, but it's a bigger version of it that slaps all these mini projectiles all around you. And if you aren't moving, if you aren't actively moving, he will just straight up kill you. So be very, very careful with this. Try to use an ability that doesn't have too long of a cast time, or just dodge roll out of this. Besides that, there are these yellow pores all over the room, especially in the center of the room. If you walk over these, they will explode and deal poison damage. So just avoid those. They aren't everywhere. They're very easy to just not step over, so you should be fine. He also teleports across the room for some reason. It doesn't really do much. It's just to annoy you and you have to chase him. So there's that. He also spawns this circle around him that you'll see him spawn again in a moment, and you'll see what it does in a moment. But overall, very simple fight. You just keep moving. The key to winning this fight is to keep moving. He spawns these roots from the ground that slap you and leave behind a yellow pore that explodes. So just keep walking again, and the roots can't hit you. And here's a teleportation attack. So he spawns a circle around him, and he spawns you in the center of the arena where all those yellow pores are. So don't get hit by this. It depends on where you are in the circle that he spawns, where you will be teleported into in the center. So as long as you're near the outer area, you should be fine. And then he has the root attack again, where he just slams the ground. The slam does nothing, and then he spawns roots, and then you're just dodging those roots. So if you saw there, I got teleported right into the center, and I just walked out, but then I died again to the roots that he hits you with. So that attack is very sudden, comes out of nowhere. And I'm showing you the deaths so that you can see that it is very easy to die to this guy, because that attack will basically one-shot you. You will get stuck, you will get mini-stunned and stuck in the roots, and you won't be able to roll out of them, so you will die. So you really, really need to pay attention to when he moves his staff forward. Normally, he's attacking with just his hand. If he puts his staff forward to fire at you, that means he's doing the bigger one. So just dodge out of it. Besides that, it's a very simple fight. Nothing else happens. And in the end, when he gets very low on health, he'll start summoning this boulder from the center of the arena and he'll slam it down on top of you. Again, it does not a lot of damage. I was wearing full evasion gear and it barely did 25% of my health. So the rest of his abilities, very simple. The rock slam, not very simple. So avoid that and you should be completely fine. And in the end, you kill him and he will drop you a cheeky little support gem. So remember that. We have the Asinia, the Praetor's Consort fight. This is a very voice line oriented fight, so you have to pay attention to what she's saying. However, as you see here, the moment she spawns into the fight, she uses one of her abilities without saying what the ability is. This is really a common theme. A lot of bosses will use a really strong ability without saying the name. So there is a visual indication as well before they're about to use it. So look out for that and I'll point that out the next time she uses it. The How Dare You Disturb Me is just a AoE blast. I think she makes herself tanky with this, but she does no damage to you or to anything else. Doesn't spawn any ads either, so you're fine. The teleportation attack is where she will teleport to you, slow you down 30%, and do a spinny melee attack. Not very scary, doesn't do much damage. This, however, is a very scary attack. My love, I call to you is one of the voice lines, and the other one is to me, Draven. So if you hear either of these voice lines, you should know that you're about to be stuck inside of a cage and you're about to get hit by her husband. So there's two ways to get out of this. Number one, her husband can actually break the wall. So if you go and stand right next to the wall, when he comes down to attack you, he'll actually break it and you can just roll away. The other one is there is a hidden door somewhere in this circle. It's very hard to see. You usually can't see it, but if you just run around the edge of the wall, you will see it. However, there can be a chance that the door is right next to the wall. So in this case, I'm pretty sure the door is here. Like this is the door or this is the door that leads out. And that's right into the wall, so I can't get out. So I had to rely on plan A, which was to let her husband break it. So here the husband landed down, he broke it, and I got to dodge the mortar spikes that she summoned into the cage. So here's the Rite of the Fourth Moon. She summons 4 circles on the ground, and the fourth one is the big explosion. The first 3 don't do much damage, but if you get hit by the fourth one, it hurts a lot, so try not to. This is the ability that will most likely one-shot you. So you really need to dodge the ability when she says Tormented Death, or even if she doesn't say it, she'll charge herself up and release a bunch of souls towards you like this, and this attack really hurts. So get out of it. Here you saw that as the cage was forming, I just rolled out of it. That you can do that too. You need to be able to read the voice line on the left. If she says, now you are mine forever, she's going to use her cage without summoning her husband. So then the only option you have is to roll out of it. So if you get stuck in that case, well, then you're just bad luck, right? I got out of it, so I'm safe. And besides that, it's a very easy boss fight. You just have to sort of just keep moving around and watch for her abilities. In between abilities, she's not doing much. So just kill her then. Here, Sacrificial Souls again. You can roll away from these, but again, they do a lot of damage, so don't get hit. Besides that, very easy fight. You can just see me mostly just taking everything. And here, this is where I'm stuck. And she calls her husband a bit late, so I know that the mortar strikes are going to hit me before the husband shows up. So I do a pro gamer move. I just roll into a corner and pray for the best, and I live. So that can happen. So just If you do get stuck in there, you're not dead, just start panic rolling and you should maybe survive. Besides that, you can just see if as long as you keep moving around, you don't really get hit by much. Like here, I stopped attacking just to see how much I can dodge if I'm just not moving, if I just keep moving, and it works. And I'm stuck in the thing again, and got out of it last second. Because last second it does break. Her husband breaks it, or something breaks it. And yeah, look at that. I'm barely getting hit by anything. I'm charging up a long spell, and even that works. So even if you have longer cast times or long winding abilities, you should be fine. And then she dies. Simple. So she is definitely the harder one because her husband is an incredibly easy boss fight. This guy does nothing. He's useless. Okay, so he also has a lot of voice lines, but again, you almost don't even need to pay attention to them. So melee attacks, they do hurt a bit. There's a lot of strong ones, combo ones, so stay away from those. Cut down, he just fires off a bunch of really weak projectiles. The Spirit's Yearn is again a very weak attack. The I will end your meaningless life, that is the attack that he uses a bunch of different melee attacks on. So they don't do much damage, but if you're already low on health, you will get hit and pushed by this attack. So be careful. And again, he has this attack. So you'll see him have this red icon, red flash on his head. That means that this is going to be a big attack that you can't dodge roll out of. Like dodge rolls and immunity frames won't protect you from this. And it does hurt. However, it only fires off in a straight line in front of him. So if you dodge to the left, dodge to the right, dodge behind him, wherever you are, you'll dodge the attack very, very easily. So, and then he has I require your aid. Asinia calls his wife, and she comes in and uses her Rite of the Fourth Moon ability. So just dodge that because that hurts, and that's basically all the abilities he has. He has nothing else. So just watch. You just keep moving around, dodge the projectile, dodge this attack, and in between this, just keep hitting him. Very simple fight. And don't get hit by those melee attacks because just saw I went pretty low because I got hit by all of them. There is that ad that you're seeing in the middle of the arena. That's not an ad that he spawns. That's an ad that walked in from the outside because I didn't kill it. So yeah, it's a very annoying shield enemy. So he's just not dying. But yeah, I don't think I need to say anything more on this. I'll let the rest of the boss fight play out, and you can see how I'm doing it. I'm just walking around and using my abilities in between his attacks, and I'm not really doing anything special. There you saw I got hit by Asinia's fourth moon explosion. That's the thing that actually hurts. Besides that, you should be completely fine. The projectiles he fires, they do get faster, and he gets faster as he gets lower on health. So he can either fire one area of projectiles or you can fire them twice. So do be careful of that. Otherwise, the rest is fairly straightforward. You just kill them. Alright, so now we have this insane fight. Now this is a pretty hard fight if you are melee. So do be careful of this, and I'll try to give you some tips on how to do this if you are melee. So, the moment the fight starts, he breaks the coffins that he sees in front of him and also immediately smacks behind him. And as you saw, his smacks hurt. He has a massive club that he swings way too quickly, and all of his attacks really, really hurt. So, you will need to use your life flask a lot because trust me, you will get hit by things. So, keep that finger on that life flask button at all times. So one of his attacks is the melee attack, he just swings, right? That attack doesn't do much damage. That's the only attack that doesn't do much. His normal default melee attack. But he spams his abilities quite often. So one of these attacks is he just fires off this spirit that you just saw, and it leaves behind chilled ground. That is one of the main reasons why this fight is hard, because he just slows you down a lot from this chilled ground, making your dodge rolls very, very slow so that he can slam his club down onto your head and just bonk you. So here he's charging up a spirit attack again, but this one is going to be a stronger one. So there it is. It fires out and then it slams down where it went through you. So you do have to dodge roll out of it. And again, that attack as well leaves behind chilled ground on the ground. So you see here, I'm standing on the ground and I'm slowed by 20%. And that's pretty damn bad. This attack, again, this is the spear that he sends forward, slows the ground down, chilling ground. If you are ranged, this is a very easy fight, right? I am trying to fight this fight close in melee range to show that melee fighters can do this too. But if you are ranged, just stand on the corner of the arena and spam your stuff. He has nothing for ranged at all, so you should be completely fine. So my Rage Burns is the attack where he fires slams in front of him and behind him. So if you are someone that's circling behind him, well, you're gonna get smacked and it hurts. You have to roll to the left to dodge this attack. So if you're standing right in front of him, roll to his either side of him and you should be fine. If you roll back or roll forward, you will get hit. There's the slam spirit again. Slams out of the ground, into the ground. And that's basically all the abilities that he has. So as long as you keep your distance from range, you should be fine. If you are melee, wait for him to use his Rage Burns slam before you start using your abilities, because that slam hurts. Otherwise, he doesn't have anything else. So this attack, Feel the Chill of the Grave. This is the ground-based attack that he has. He will stomp the ground and these projectile lines will come out towards you, and then a spirit will come out of the ground where you were, and again, it will slow you down. That's all. So a lot of slowing spirit attacks. You can see that I'm getting hit by a lot of these because all of them are slowing me down. Like getting chipped by the spirit even once, even a little bit, it slows me down a lot, and then I get hit by stuff. So as you can see, my life flask, I have half a life flask left, and there are no monsters that spawn in this fight to give you life flasks. So if you run out, then you're out. You will have to portal out or just play extra, extra, extra safe. See, I'll let the rest of this fight play out of me playing like an absolute pussy, just staying as far from as I can. If you are ranged, just avoid the Rage Burns attack. If you have a lot of armor, you should be fine. I had no armor for this fight, so I was pure evasion, so I was taking a lot of damage from his attacks. So I would recommend to put on some armor, any armor at all, so that you can sort of mitigate some of the slams that you will have to tank if you are a melee fighter or a monk or anything like it. But yeah, pretty simple fight besides that. Just a bit spooky with the slams. And there you go. Done. So here we have the Crowbell fight. This is a very dumb fight. I almost didn't even feel like adding this into the video because he does nothing. So he spawns in here. He has no abilities. He just hits you with his normal default attack. And the point here is to burst him down fast enough, and then he will start to run away. So he'll yell and he'll run. And then you have to chase him. But he will realize that, oh no, the door's closed, so he can't really run anywhere. And then he will yell again and get bigger. But again, his normal melee attacks do nothing. Like his big jumpy slam attack also does nothing. So you can see me just face tanking. I'm not over leveled at all. I'm exactly the level that I'm supposed to be. And he does nothing. Right? I don't have any crazy gear either. It's all normal stuff. So then he picks up the bell and breaks the door and then runs away again. And then you have to chase him some more until he takes you to his little boss arena. And here too, he only has that attack. That's his only attack. He slams this bell down in front of him, and otherwise he does this swipe attack into the bell attack. And I'm a mage, and I'm tanking it. Yes, I'm wearing armor items and not energy shield items at this point, but still, that's his only attack. You can see me trying to make him do anything else. If he has another attack that you guys know about, please let me know in the comments because this guy just felt so nothing. He did nothing. So yeah, just face tank the bell and just keep hitting him and then you'll kill him. I'm not even trying to kill him. I'm not using my flame wall, not using my orb of storms. I'm just trying to make him do something, but he's not doing anything. So yeah, I'll let this play out and you can see he does nothing and then we'll move on to the next boss. Alright, so here we are in the Courtyard of Death with the Executioner. This is an insanely badass fight. So be ready for it. Main tip for this fight is to just roll behind him. If you want to skip this entire section, roll behind him. That's it. But if you want to know more, he has a melee swing that does nothing if you're standing behind him. He'll miss most of it. And even if he hits, it doesn't do much damage. So it should be fine. So one of the attacks that he has is he slams his axe down in front of him and a line, a shockwave line fires out. It does damage, but it's very, very thin. It's almost impossible to get hit with. So when he yells and says, "You cowards, fight or die," that is when he's spawning monsters. So he'll spawn a bunch of knights that'll come in and attack you. They don't do much damage, but again, they are annoying. This is the attack. Your time is up. He will flash red and he'll charge up this big slam and boom. That hurts an insane amount. But if you roll behind him, you'll be able to dodge it very, very easily. So the other attack is this, the guillotine drops. He channels this and it channels and drops where you were at the time he began the channeling. So very easy to dodge, and it's very easy to dodge because it does a lot of damage. So dodge it. Besides that, it's a very easy fight. If you're just standing behind him and not getting hit by the big slams, you should be fine. Because it's very slow, very choreographed, and if you get hit by them, well, it's more your fault than his. So another attack that you can see right here is this. So you see how sometimes these fiery meteors are coming down and hitting the ground. This is also something that happens once he drops below 50% health. So when he says, "You cowards, fight or die," he spawns his knights, and along with those knights, he also has some ballistas firing down fiery arrows where you are, and they leave behind burning ground. I almost died to this, so be careful. The burning ground hurts, but the actual explosion itself doesn't hurt that much. So here is the first and only time I actually staggered a boss because I was hitting it that much. I was trying to hit the ads, but I hit the boss. So I wanted to have a separate section on this. Any damage, whether it's spell damage, physical damage, minion damage, if you're damaging a boss consistently enough, rapidly enough, there is a meter that fills up underneath his health bar, and when it gets to full, he gets staggered and it has an entire stagger animation similar to a Dark Souls boss. So here, he got staggered and is stunned, and then here's the bar depleting. So yeah. This is me just trying to be fancy, killing him with something else. So now we have the Candlemass. This is a very fun fight. If you guys are familiar with Path of Exile 1, his moveset is exactly the same as the Sanctum's first floor boss. So, if you are someone who's done that, then just, easy for you. Otherwise, he has a melee attack that does no damage. He has a big slam fire attack that he does this way, that does damage. So roll behind him to avoid this. Here he has a flamethrower ability. However, there is a bug. The flame from this can sometimes just be invisible. So you see here, there should be a massive fiery thing, but I can't see it. But I could hear it, so I rolled out of it. And my gamer brain told me that there's probably something there. Otherwise, very simple boss. Here, you have to roll behind him. There are no voice lines in this, so you have to really see what he's doing. When he gets down on all fours, he will fire off a bunch of fiery projectiles all in front of him. So just get behind him before you get shotgunned and killed. And now there's the fire. Right there you saw the flamethrower ability. Very easy to dodge again. So his melee attacks don't do much damage. His fire slam hurts, and his fireballs and flamethrower hurts. So as long as you're hitting him in between those abilities, you should be completely fine. So here he's using it again. I'm standing behind him, and this is where this is my DPS window. He is standing completely still. He's not doing anything. So I can just stand behind him and use my longer winding attacks. If I was a melee big slammy boy, that's when I would do my attacks. And I'll let the rest of the fight play out. It's pretty simple here on out. Stagger. Stagger. He got staggered. Heavy stunned. Alright, so the King in the Mist fight is very simple and very easy. He has a bunch of different abilities that he uses and says the voice line right before using. So, Thorn Grip is when he fires off these roots in a cone in front of him towards you. Doesn't do much damage. Besides that, he has Fuss. So his abilities are going to be like in a different language. So if you just pay attention to them. So Fuss is him slamming his foot on the ground, and an AoE shockwave comes out. Doesn't do much damage. You can tank it. Slaughguard. So this is one of the stronger abilities. You can see in the top left, I have this debuff, right? It has this AoE on the ground. It's pinkish reddish. This means that I need to keep moving. I need to stop moving. If I don't stop moving, if I keep on moving the way I am, I will get petrified. So you see here, I'm stunned. And if he's about to use a big ability and I'm stunned, it's bad. So he has Agrik Armak. He channels a bunch of energy into him, and then he spawns this reddish degen ground on the ground. It doesn't do much damage to me because I had life regen, but if you don't have life regen, it can hurt you quite a bit. So you see, you're taking physical damage over time. So Traveler's Bane. This time he says it in English. Traveler's Bane. Traveler meaning someone who is moving, and Bane meaning something bad. So if you keep moving, something bad will happen. You'll get frozen. So just stand still until the debuff wears off. It should be fine. He doesn't have any strong abilities, so standing still shouldn't hurt you too much. So Dark Effigy. What this thing does is if you leave those totems alive, they will spawn a debuff in a large AoE shockwave that stacks on you. And I'll show you later on how that works. Grow is the same as Fuss. So this is the other variant of this. So this is pinkish green. Right here, you have to keep moving. And if you keep moving, or you'll be imprisoned, right? So just keep running until the debuff goes away, and you should be fine. This is the easier one. The rest of this fight is just me trying to make him do something. So here, Dark Effigy again. This time I don't kill the totems. I leave them up to see what exactly is going to happen. And you see they spawn a shockwave, and you're taking ever increasing physical damage per stack of Shadow Surge. And this stack does not go away. So they pulsed again, and now I have 4 stacks. I destroyed them, I still have the stacks. And then the stacks go away a few seconds after they are destroyed, not immediately. So when he gets low enough, he goes Wild Rose Power is mine, and then he transforms and goes into phase 2, where he heals all of his health back up. So now he gets 2 new abilities. The End of Meaning is nigh, where he fires off this projectile. He doesn't fire this. The totem in the middle fires this projectile right at you, and then it blows up. It doesn't do that much damage, so you can just dodge it, and then his voice lines change for the attacks that he uses. So You Are Seen is now the one where you need to stop moving, and the debuff lasts way longer. So I'm stunned here. It was way longer, so you have to be careful. If you are not, if you are very squishy at this point, like you're a full evasion energy shield character with no armor, no life, you might die, so be careful. Otherwise, very simple boss fight. You shouldn't have too much trouble with this. I will let the rest of it play out until he does something different, so which he won't. So that this attack, that's the only like quote unquote different. It's the same slam that he did in the first phase, just bigger. Bigger, and that's it. So here I actually get hit by the End of Meaning bomb or whatever bomb, and it, you saw I did basically nothing. And then I tanked the slam too and also did basically nothing. Alright, so here we are in the final fight. So one very important note to remember about this fight. You need to have this charm. How do you get this charm? Well, before this boss fight, you will be going to go fight the King in the Mists in the hunting ground area. I forgot the name of the area. Um, but ritual boss, King in the Mist, once you kill that boss, the quest reward for that boss is a charm. More specifically, you can choose a fire charm, a lightning charm, or a cold charm. So choose the cold charm and use your crafting currency, make it magic, use your transportation orb, and use your orb of augmentation to get some good mods on this. I got lucky, I got increased charges, so that was pretty useful. And you really need this because this boss does an insane amount of cold damage. Always. So you will run out of flasks eventually, and then you will die. So you really need this flask before this boss fight. Like I tried this boss fight without the without the charm, and it was horrible. So before the fight begins, again another thing, you need to really be calm during this fight. It's a long fight. Do not waste your life flask charges unnecessarily. Okay, try to dodge and try to use your life flask when you drop below half health. So he's gonna jump right into the center of the arena, so ready your spells before he does so. And then he only has one main attack when he is in sword form. And that attack, first one's ire, is he fires off a cold projectile from the front of his sword. Very easy to dodge. However, can be harder to dodge if you are a ranged character trying to play from far away and you don't see him use this. Run, Little Rabbit. Now, this attack is confusing at first because you might think it's actually the dash, but no. The dash is, he almost never hits you with this, right? But as soon as he reaches at the end of the dash, he will immediately spin around and slash his sword in a big AoE. So you either have to be right next to him or you need to be very far away from him. So this attack, you will falter. This is the third and final attack that he has in his normal form. He will spawn these icy walls and then he'll slam in between them. Now you see here, I got stuck in them, right? So that was bad. But the wall breaks right before the attack goes off. And here I just bugged out and rolled out of it, but it is supposed to break before the attack goes off. So I'll let the fight play out and you can see that I just focus on staying very close to him, even though I'm ranged and I can just take this fight from far away. I'm not doing that. So here, so you saw that the ice walls break before the slam goes down and you can just roll out of it. So here is the final attack that he starts to use. You'll pay with your life. It's not really an attack, it's more just him swinging his sword, but a bit faster. So if you hear that, you'll pay with your life, don't pay with your life, and roll to the left. Don't roll behind you, don't roll behind him, roll to the left. And once you bring him down to about 50% health, he will then transform. So he puts down his sword. So you see here, when he puts down the sword, he will transform into his wolf form. So when he does that, when you just saw, when his wolf form sort of just like fades upwards, like this, I was never able to dodge this attack properly. It's very fast, and you need to be paying attention to this. The moment he does this, he will spawn right on top of you, right in the center, and then drop a meteor of physical damage down, which hurts a lot, as you saw. So if you can dodge this, do it, if you're better than me. But yeah. Besides this, you have very few windows to do damage without him hitting you back. So for me, I just put on a bunch of armor so that I could tank him while I did this. So he is supposed to go back to human form and then fight you as a human again and then transform into a wolf again. But when he transforms back from his wolf form, he is stunned for a very long time. So that is your DPS window. You can see here, I am throwing everything I can at him. So here, when he puts his sword down into the ground, that is when he will transform into a wolf. And the moment he does so, he'll use this really annoying slam attack where he'll sort of just fade upwards and his wolf will like liquidize away and then appear right on top of you. And then you will have a very, very small window to roll out of this. I was never able to do it. I always just tanked this big ass slam. So if you're better than me, dodge it. When you see him doing this, wolf form is like ready to pounce, and you see these lines of blood appearing in front of him. That is when he'll charge in a straight line and fire off projectiles to the right of it. So you need to be able to roll back behind him. This is also a great time to hit him because he isn't doing much except channeling this attack. So you saw there, he jumped forward, projectiles to the left and the right, so you need to roll behind him. And then you will have a lot of time in between the wolf's attacks to hit him a lot because his melee attack doesn't do much damage, especially if you are wearing any kind of armor. So that's what I was doing. I was just spamming him with attacks because when you bring him down below half health, he will transform back into a human. And that transformation is slow, so I wanted to heavy stun him in this time. So that's what I was doing. I was hitting him as much as I could, as fast as I could, knowing that he's about to transform back into a human, so that when he does transform back into a human, he gets stunned. So look at him, he is stunned for a very long time, and I'm able to do a bunch of damage in this time. So much, in fact, that he immediately transforms back into his endgame wolf form. So, phase 2, Putrid Wolf mode, that's where he immediately goes to. So, I skipped the third phase of this fight, which is just him as a human but faster. So, really, really try to do that. But if you can't, just remember he goes back into human form and has used the same attacks as the first time, but just faster. So, a tip about his wolf form. This is an insanely hard fight. Freezing Gale is the easiest thing, and you really want him to use this. This is your DPS window. It's a very short one, and Requiem on high. Now, this attack hurts a lot. If you are standing anywhere near these beams, you will take an insane amount of cold damage. But this is also your primary DPS window to hit him. So, if you are melee, or if you are any sort of whatever you are, right, use this time to hit him. But the way you hit him, you use one cast of anything. Either that's your bow attack, your melee attack, your minion attack, whatever. Use it once and immediately roll out of the way. Because those beams, you might think you can use two attacks, but no, you can use one and then roll away. So this attack, very badass by the way. He spawns a bunch of chilling mist around the edges of the arena and keeps on saying voice lines. The end of each voice line, he will dash and attack you. And he's also spawning monsters in between. These monsters are very important. You need to kill these monsters because these give you flask charges. Right? And if you don't kill them, by the end of this attack that he's using, they will automatically die and you won't get your charges back. And as you saw, this is a very hit focused fight. You will be getting hit a lot, so you need those flash charges. So get those now in this phase. So you can see me trying to hit the enemies as much as I can before the attack ends. So when he says Agnar shall slay again, you can sort of see that there's a full stop. Instead of these dot dot dot, there's a full stop. So that means this ability is about to end and he's about to slam on top of you and try to hit you with something. So he's back. He's using the same attack again. So I'm trying to dodge. I use one spark and then I roll. One spark and I roll. And then he does the slam attack that he used to do in his original wolf form, but faster. So yeah. Okay, so I smell your blood and I am ravenous. This attack, he slams his sword into the ground. This is the biggest DPS window you have. So use this as best as you can. So he will channel cold energy into the ground, and when he's done channeling, it'll explode out. So here it is, it's channeling, it's channeling, it's channeling, and then it explodes outwards. So regardless of what build you are, use this moment to hit him with your biggest attack and then roll away. For me, I'm Spark, right? So I'm just hitting him with sparks while I'm moving away. That's what I'm doing. But if you are a slammer, slam him and then roll away. And here's the same attack again. This thing hurts. So there, he goes away, slams down. This slam hurts less, but it's faster. So it's meant to chip away at you, make you use life flash charges, which is why I said stay calm. Don't panic against this boss. You have to use your life flash very, very, very forgivingly. So I'm gonna let this part of the fight play out. Kill the monsters, dodge his rolls as he finishes talking. Pay attention when he finishes his sentence and roll right as he finishes. If you don't, you saw, his dash hurts. Very cool attack though. You gotta admit, it's very, very badass. So there it is, full stop, and big jump right on top of me. I will let the rest of the fight play out because the rest of the abilities are normal up until the final phase. The final phase is insane. So watch the rest and I'll be back once his health is low enough. Okay, so this is gonna be the final time that he uses this mist. You really need your flash charges. If you weren't getting them before, you need them now desperately. You can see me just tanking the mobs here because I know I need the life flasks. I need them. And funnily enough, I did not know that I needed them because this was my first time reaching this phase of the fight. So, why do you need them? Well, because now his Solstice Vigil attack is no longer cold damage. It is now heavy physical damage over time. So you saw, I got hit by one, and I got this little cheeky debuff. And I got hit by two more. And now I have three of this debuff. This debuff is the Path of Exile 1's variant of Corrupted Blood. So this does an insane amount of physical damage over time. This is me, you see me healing? This is because I have a life flask. This is how fast the life flask is healing me, even while I have this. So if I didn't have life flask charges, I would be dead. I would be dead to those three stacks. So you see here, I was panicking. And then he starts using those same beams with every other attack. So here he's using the ground slam thing, but the moment he slams his sword into the ground, those same beams fire out. So, and then when he gets super low, they just start happening randomly. Like he just jumped at me and then beams. So I was panicking, but then I managed to take him down with the final life flash charge that I had, keeping me alive through the degen. That's everything. Those are all the bosses from Act 1 campaign. Those are all the main bosses, all the side bosses, all the everything that you need to kill in order to get all the extra rewards. So I hope this helped. And if there's any questions, leave them in the comments. Thank you and bye.